hit back.
Guys, the Be Different podcast is back with the man to the left of me, Andy Mack, with his beautiful, beautiful Xavier Cup. Kicking it old school with Andy Mack, and we had an exhibition game last night. Andy, we're going to get your thoughts on that. Before we get there, I mean, your wardrobe today, I love what you're doing right now. You're bringing back the vest.
And I have a vast wardrobe and selection of Xavier gear. I have almost as many things on my hangers as the bookstore.
That surprises me about you. I wouldn't think that.
And I actually pay for it. And I've been lobbying for years for you and I to get free gear for that pregame show we do at Cintas at Duff's. I mean, it would make sense to me, especially before Christmas, if we wore the latest and greatest gear that's designed by Mario Mercurio. But for some reason, that has fallen on deaf ears, and we don't get any free gear. I'm trying to put money in Xavier's pocket, and they don't see the wisdom of you and I being male models.
Yeah, I don't
on the stage at Duff's. You with your sculpted frame. Yes.
Oh my gosh,
Andy Mack, a little corpulent, a little pudgy, but I'm like the average Xavier fan.
Yeah, well, we play to the Xavier audience, and I'm in big trouble as far as wardrobe goes.
You are in big trouble.
Well, and you
just told me some stuff.
Well,
man.
I'll share this with the audience because it's true. Like I would take Chris Mack's hand-me-downs, and now that Chris Mack is no longer here, I have no access to new Xavier gear. I only have access to Louisville gear from Chris now, and it's hand-me-downs.
You don't even have a little minute X on the shirt you're wearing today.
No, I got a Henley shirt. It's got 3 buttons. It's opened.
Is that supposed to be big?
Yeah, you're only supposed to wear a Henley if you have a good chest, and I'd like to think I have a good chest. I bench press over 150 pounds, so it's I can wear it.
You know, they stage the Henley Regatta every year on the Thames River in London. That's a big rowing deal.
You've been, haven't you?
No,
I'm
not into
rowing.
Rowing is about the most boring sport to cover. I used to do it when I was at Syracuse on Lake Onondaga, and it was terrible. It was terrible. I hated it. But it's a great workout, that's for sure. I'll never know directly.
All right. Well, maybe I'll look into it one day.
Hey, I got to bring up one thing. This is the best thing we can do for our audience is to remind them that Sunday is the autumnal solstice, and you fall back. I think you gain an hour, which is good. It's good for Brad because he has a huge party on Saturday. It's his dad's 60th birthday. He's going to play Bob Euchre all night up there in Michigan. It'll give you an extra hour to recover from whatever you consume before, during, and after the party.
Yeah, and we got a big birthday shout out to the man, the myth, the legend. That is Mike Redford, turning 60th birthday party, and I got to tell the audience, we are celebrating in only Michigan conservative fashion, and that's an 8 o'clock euchre tournament. So I am preparing. I'll be firing out bowers, but I'll be winning championships on Saturday night. What is that?
I was snoring.
I thought you were trying to whistle. I thought that was a whistle.
Euchre, is that the little game where you have the little markers and you move them around? Or is that?
No, that's called sequence.
What is that?
Are you Scrabble? I don't know what you're referring to. I think you're talking about sequence or Scrabble.
Is that Baccarat?
No.
Cadasta? Bridge?
Trouble. We'll play some trouble. It's fun getting into trouble.
I'm a bad card guy. I like 52 pickup and Old Maid. Those are my
card
games of choice.
You strike me as a war guy.
Man, I'm in a goofy mood today, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I hear. Well, especially after the exhibition game last night.
After watching that goofy Xavier defense last night. Overall, though, it was a plus. There were a lot of dunks. It was entertaining. As Ryan Wellage said so eloquently after the game, the players had fun. They got to know each other better. It was a step in the process. And Xavier did crush Kentucky Wesleyan 98-69 on Thursday night at Cintas. And I guess the big story is going forward for the average basketball fan, the health of Quentin Goodin, and also the availability of the D2 National Player of the Year, current muskie Zack Hankins. Neither of those guys played. Xavier still put 98 points up against a D2 team that tried hard and really shot the rock well. And So what I hear about Quentin, and I watched him before the game, he was out there with the left shoulder strapped up in one of those harnesses. And according to Travis Steele, who knows what he's talking about, Q will get a full practice on Saturday, and there is a chance that he may be available for the Ooey Pooey game, which is the season opener Tuesday night. That is 8:30 at Cintas. It's the second game of a Fox doubleheader. But Quentin, who is arguably the most important Xavier player, he's the point guard. He led him to an Elite Eight as a freshman. The guy is ripped. He's ready to go. Just an unfortunate shoulder injury. He's just a freak fall in practice. He's going to be all right. They're being careful with him, and he could be ready for Indianapolis. What is it? Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis on Tuesday in the opener. Don't be shocked if he doesn't play until Wisconsin a week from Tuesday. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked by that. That might be very prudent. Zack Hankins tweaked a knee last weekend. I don't know if it was in the Ohio State secret scrimmage. Shh, please, don't say anything.
Don't discuss.
Don't. That'll be a violation. They'll be all over us. But he will practice full go this weekend, and God willing, Zach will be there to help out Tyreek Jones inside on Tuesday against Ooey Pooey.
Okay, so it's fair to say that Zack Hankins, we are thinking, will probably play in the opener. Quentin Goodin, very much in question.
Stanky McPanky or whatever his nickname is.
It's Hanky McSpanky, okay?
He's a great guy to talk to. I'm talking to him. I asked him a question in like the press conference on Media Desk. Zach, you played against Xavier here 2 years ago as a Ferris State Division II player in the exhibition game. What are your memories? He goes, well, they weren't very good. I was terrible. I was nervous. It was my first start. I banged against Sean O'Mara and fouled out 8 minutes into the game. And also, Edmund Sumner dunked over him like an explosive, dynamic dunk. And Sumner has been using it as his Twitter handle background.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. And Sumner showed up at practice 2 weeks ago. I happened to be there. And Hanky McSpanky went over and asked him politely to take the picture down of the dunk.
Oh, that is so funny.
I don't know if Edmund did it or not, but
well, let's look right now. Let's see if I can find this.
It was priceless. Anyway, the guy can play basketball.
Did
he
you
definitely can play.
Did you see Ferris State go to Duke and play them last week?
Did they?
They lost by like 70.
Well, I mean,
like
Hanky
68 to 20.
No longer there.
It was 68 to 20, I believe,
68 to 20.
Well, no, it was 68 to 20 with like 15 minutes to go in the second half. Duke's the
Zion
real
Williamson,
deal.
He's only 40 pounds overweight now. He's sort of chipped off a few pounds since Coach K got him on the floor early or late in September.
They're fun to watch.
Duke is?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I didn't have any time to watch a Duke exhibition game. Thank you.
Jeez. And by the way, if you did want to know, Edmund looks to have changed the profile picture on his Twitter handle. So it is right now.
Hankins, obviously a very persuasive guy.
Yeah.
Edmund to take down that picture of embarrassing Hanky McSpanky 2 years ago at the Cintas.
All right, so Andy, I know it's challenging to take a lot away from an exhibition game that we saw playing a team like Kentucky Wesleyan, but what else do you take away from what you were able to see?
Paul Scruggs was the prime point guard with Quentin Goodin on the sideline, and he looked comfortable. He looked impressive. I mean, his line, for what it's worth, 20 points, 7 rebounds. This guy rebounds like a small forward. I mean, he just clears people out. He and Quentin together as point guard 1 and 1A, they are going to be hell on wheels for anybody to guard. Big, physical guys who go to the board, who attack the basket, who are going to create the problems defensively in the passing lanes, a lot of steals. Xavier actually had 14 steals, and the assist to turnover for the team was 21 assists to 7 turnovers. There were some really nice numbers there, as there should be, against sort of a rebuilding Division II team in Kentucky Wesleyan. And, the big guys did well. Scruggs, Tyreek was dominating. Najee Marshall had one streak in the first half where I think he scored 9 points in a row. He just took over. I mean, he just dominated.
It was in under 2 minutes. He had 9 points in under 2 minutes, and he didn't take a shot the first 7 minutes of the game.
No.
And then he got going. He had 9 points in those 2 minutes when he started rolling. But how about the move that he made in transition, going behind the back and reversing it to the other side? I mean, that was special. That's a Russell Westbrook type NBA move.
The guy has all the moves, all the nuances. That dunk he made coming off the left wing, I think it was in the first half. It was a tomahawk thunder dunk. He must have been 2 feet above the rim. It was left-handed, and that was destructive, explosive. I can't think of a better adjective, adverb, interjection. I mean, it was that. If Najee stays healthy, if Q gets healthy, if Scruggs stays healthy, if Tyreek stays healthy, that core four, it's one of the best core fours in Division I basketball, bar none. Take your Dukes, your Kentuckys, all those guys, all those one and dones, those little passengers who move through and don't go to class after the first semester, all those guys. I mean, the Xavier guys actually are students. They go to class. They stay 3 or 4 years. These other guys, that one-and-done stuff, I mean, they should go form their own division, do whatever.
Well, it might change now because the G League's going to offer some contracts.
I know.
And I do have to give a shout-out to Kentucky Wesleyan's best player last night, and that was Adam Getz. Adam Getz from St. Henry High School shot the shit out of the ball yesterday. 23 points, 10 to 13 from the field. Congrats to Adam Getz coming over to Cincinnati and really doing a nice job last night.
I talked to the Kentucky Wesleyan coach, Drew Cooper, a couple of days before the game, and he coached Thomas More College last year, just across the river, and he said, I don't know much about my team. I got 14 new guys. I like them. They shoot the rock. Adam Getz, kudos to him. He shot off. He was a catch-and-shoot guy. He shot off the dribble. They had Najee Marshall guarding him, and Najee is a prime-time defender. I mean, he's gone against Keelan Martin. He's gone against Shamori Pons, a lot of big-name guys, and Getz looked really good, man. He can change direction. He gets the shot off from all different positions. I mean, you know more about shooting than I do. That kid really impressed me.
Well, yeah, and the shot in the second half when he opened up and he had the ball in the left corner and he took that nice step back, faded away right into the Kentucky Wesleyan bench. Pretty impressive. With 10 to 13, 23 points, Adam Getz really played well. But not a whole lot for me to take away from the game other than kind of what we've talked about previously is I like the ability of this team to be able to switch 1 through 5. When you get into those tough matchups, get in those awkward games against Butler, play against a team like Villanova, I mean, it looks like this is a team that can switch 1 through 5, even possibly with Tyreek Jones being leaner and quicker, and maybe he lost a little bit of strength with the way that he is built, but I mean, Tyreek Jones just naturally is a physical guy. I think this will only enhance who Tyreek Jones is as a player. And then when you look at him, Marshall, Scruggs, all three of those guys look to have improved their games. I mean, Paul Scruggs, the way that he shot the ball compared to how his shot looked last year, I mean, the way that it came off his hands, his progression to get into it, the confidence, that's a big difference from behind the three-point line for Paul Scruggs from what I saw last night.
And, the headband looks good.
I love that. I love the headband.
And Tyreek is a flat-out destroyer. He loves to hurt people. I mean, not really, not injure them, but he loves to like dunk in guys' faces and then Anyway, here's the latest Xavier Nation magazine, and it's the many moods of Tyreek Jones. Look at all the expressions. This guy emotes. This guy emotes. He's a funny guy. He's a real leader. People are talking to me about, this team has no real seniors. There's no leadership. Tyreek, Scruggs, Quentin, and Najee, they're all ready. Last year they deferred to the seniors. They're ready to grab the reins here and be leaders.
How come I never got a magazine cover like this, Andy? Am I not attractive enough? Do I not present myself as a personality?
You do not emote. Look at the various stages of Tyreek there.
I guess.
He laughs. He makes me laugh. He makes me cry. I run through the whole gamut of human emotions.
I think the big problem with me in college, I didn't have enough street cred because I don't have any tattoos.
Yep,
I think that was if I could go back. That's my biggest regret from college basketball is that I didn't add any tattoos at that time. That's my lone regret.
That is part of your problem, Brad. You need some tattoos.
Why don't we get some X tattoos?
Wait till you get to age 60. What are you going to do with those tattoos? That's my question. But Tyreek's a fun guy, and he's a heck of a basketball player. He destroyed against Ohio State. He had a huge game against the Buckeyes, and he's the real deal.
Did you think it was just odd? It took me a second because I'm so used to going to the Cintas Center on nights like last night and seeing J.P. McCure and Trayvon out there, even Chris Mack. It took me a second to be like, okay, we're moving forward, because I'm just so used to seeing those guys. I mean, for the last 4 years, anytime you go to Cintas, a lot of times it became the J.P. and Trayvon show, and now it's like we're learning a whole different team, whole different coaching staff. It was a little bit of a different feel early on.
Brad, get with it.
I'm
97. This is the Travis Field Show. Travis very comfortable in the press room, very positive after the game. He said, my defense went in and out. It was sort of like it waxed and waned. Granted, there was a little lull there. The first 9 minutes of the second half were Xavier and Kentucky Wesleyan basically traded baskets, which, that can't happen. Yeah. That can't happen, but it did. And also Xavier was out-rebounded, which is a little freaky, 33-32 by Kentucky Wesleyan. I got a feeling that the rebound bubble, the hated plastic bubble, is going to go up a lot.
I will say that
2 or 3 days.
That was my least favorite drill in college was the blackout drill. Anytime the blackout drills were said in the words of the coaches, I was like, I do not think I want to be a part of this.
Brad had a lot of strategies to avoid the blackout grill. Oh, my hammy.
No,
wait a minute. Oh, my no. Oh,
so what I
got a cold.
So what I would do is I would get in one time and then I would float to the back and be like, all right, I already got in. I'm in. I did this already.
You're hiding behind Dave Fluker and the water machine and the exercycle. Where's Brad? Brad, it's your turn on the rotation. My hammy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it went. Well, so we got a game coming up already Tuesday. And
wait a minute, I got to talk about Ryan Wellich.
Oh,
Ryan Wellich. Sometimes he looks a little awkward out there. He's thin as a rail, but this guy is a good basketball player. He knows where to be. He knows how to space himself. He doesn't force shots, and he missed a few early. He was a little nervous, but he ended up with 17. And if they look for him consistently, he's going to find a soft spot. And if he can step into a three, it's like a Brad Redford situation. It's a layup for him.
He's got a little hitch in his shot, but I like his shot. But I'm just saying, I saw a little bit of a hitch there.
It's like a mortar. The trajectory is parabolic.
Yeah.
It is high, but it finds the bottom of the net. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you, this guy is going to be a very useful tool.
Well, he's a guy that for opposing coaches, I mean, he's asked to be in the game plan for all of those pick and pop situations. What do you do? So if Ryan Welch shoots percentages that we've seen him be able to shoot, that's a big bonus for Xavier and the guys that can get to the lane. So as long as he can stretch the defense out enough, it's a big win for X.
I think the Columbia transfer, Kyle Castlin, is going to be a very useful tool also. He is not flashy, very unselfish. He scored 4 layups, didn't hunt shots, and he's sort of like a Malcolm Bernard guy. If he comes along like Malcolm, it's going to be nothing but positives. The young guys, I think Dontarius James, once he learns the defense and gets comfortable, physically he's 222 with 6% body fat, physically ready to play at the D1 level, and Xavier needs him. Behind Tyreek and Hankins, he's the obvious choice as the third big guy.
And you got to give freshmen some time, any freshman.
Yeah.
I mean,
I thought Kennedy looked in spurts. Keontae Kennedy, the other freshman, looked like he could play.
And this team is, and Welledge said it in a post-game interview, this team really hasn't had time to play with each other against opponents. So this team is going to make a lot of strides over the next 6 weeks here, and you got to give them some time. There's going to be some up and downs early on. There's going to be some 4 or 5 minute stretches where it's like, what the heck is going on? And then they'll put it together, but you got to give them some time to play with each other. And when two of your best 5 players aren't playing, that makes it challenging too to make things look comfortable out there.
Yeah, I thought the win over Kentucky Wesleyan was a good positive step, and from preseason practice, they work hard. They do a lot of full court conditioning, layup drills to get the aerobics going, but they don't play a whole lot of 5-on-5 full court. I mean, that just doesn't happen. They play a lot of half court to get the pack line defense slides and the other stuff in vogue. They shoot a lot of basketballs. They run the court a lot. 5-on-5 is a rarity in preseason practice. They had a good dose of it against Ohio State, another good dose against Kentucky Wesleyan, and the bullets start flying for real on Tuesday against IUPUI.
8:30 start.
8:30 start. Brad, you won't be there.
So it's the only game I will not be at all year. So just so you're aware and everybody's aware, I will not be there for the pregame festivities, which I'm disappointed with. But that's the only game
Who am I
that
supposed to play with on the stage if you're not there?
You're gonna have to get creative.
I want to have fun.
I know. I apologize about that. I really do.
I'm not throwing you under the bus. I know you have other priorities, and I respect them, but I'm really upset. But that's all right. I'll recover. I'm Andy Mack. I'm resilient.
It'll be quick. We got a lot of home games coming up here. A lot of home games. We got one on the 10th, right after.
That's right.
Isn't there
at
one
the
on the
Evansville
10th
Purple Aces. Our game 2 Saturday afternoon, a week from Saturday.
Yes.
That's a 4 o'clock. That's more reasonable.
That's like the perfect time for a Saturday game.
And then a week from Tuesday, it's the big boys, the Gavitt games. The Big Ten Wisconsin Badgers come in with revenge on their mind after what JP did to them and embarrassed them.
Ooh, the Gator Chomp.
Up at the Kohl Center last year. And hopefully PGA golfer Steve Stricker, who made a number of negative, disparaging remarks about Xavier on Twitter after that game. He's a big Wisconsin fan. If you're a pro golfer, how the hell can you spend your winters in Wisconsin?
Well,
You've got to be in a warmer climate working on your swing.
I agree. Well, that's why. I mean, he's been a good player, but he hasn't been a great player. But I think the Xavier student section does need to pick up on Steve Stricker and make sure we have some blow-up heads of him. They have to be creative, and they have to be ready. They got to be ready to go when Wisconsin comes into town, but they got to take advantage of the Steve Stricker stuff. They have to take advantage of the J.P. McCura stuff. If that is not everywhere throughout the Cintas Center when Wisconsin comes into town, I will be extremely, extremely disappointed, Andy.
Maybe you've started something with the students. If they can find a picture of Steve Stricker to blow up and put on one of those big, what do they call those?
Just a blow-up fat head? Blow-up fat head or whatever they can do?
Of Steve Stricker. I don't think he has the guts to actually show up here.
Steve Stricker, he will not be coming to Cincinnati. I do not see that happening.
Actually, he's on the PGA Senior Tour, and I think they're still playing some big money Senior Tour events, so he's probably out there hitting the golf ball. But around the Big East, we want to hit this segment. Let's focus quickly on the Butler Bulldogs because they're being picked by a lot of experts to finish second or third in the Big East. And I respect Butler. I enjoy my trips to Hinkle Fieldhouse. I'm being politically correct here, but I do not see Butler being a second or third best team in the Big East. I'm sorry.
I'm not sure. I love Kamar Baldwin. And then we spoke about the Duke transfer a little bit too. I don't know how I don't know how good of a player he is. I haven't watched him play enough, but he'll be available for the second semester. But Kamar Baldwin, I love his game. I love his ability to attack. I mean, he is a handful for any defense. And with Keelan Martin being gone, Kamar Baldwin now has the ultra green light. I mean, he could be a guy who's averaging those 23 points a game, 24 points a game type numbers for Butler.
I think Baldwin is going to have to score 20-plus. I mean, is he a point guard? Is he a two-guard? Who do they play with him? They've got Jorgensen, the transfer from, I think,
George Washington.
George Washington, who was good in the non-conference and against Villanova last year, but not that great in the rest of the league games. Where's their toughness? They lose Tyler Weidman, who Travis Steele tried to recruit him to Xavier. And Weidman had that toughness inside. Nate Fowler, the Moeller guy, is going to have to be a starter for them, I would think. And then there's the Duke transfer. I mean, Coach K let him go after 8 games and hardly played him. Is he that good? We'll see. I mean, I think Lavelle Jordan did a great job in his first job at year at Butler, but They're probably a borderline NCAA team, but are they the second best team in the league? I think maybe they're a little overrated.
You love Providence, though. If it's not Providence, you're not talking positive about it. You're
I
such a
picked
Providence homer.
as the deepest, most innovative. Ed Cooley is, other than Travis, is my favorite, and Jay Wright is my third favorite coach in the Big East. And
Chris Mullen's not your favorite?
well, I like the
You
way
strike me as a Chris Mullen guy.
You know, he's not that much of a detail guy. He's a rah-rah guy. The players love to play for him, but who wouldn't? If they let you shoot anytime you touch the ball.
Chris
you
Mullen's,
can rest on defense. That's the perfect scenario for a player.
Chris Mullen's coaching style is like putting together an egg scramble. You know, it's like, let's throw some hash browns in, throw some peppers, scramble the eggs. Like, we'll put it together, put some hot sauce on it, and you guys will like it. You know, it's not. He's not a fine cuisine type coach. That's tactically like putting his vegetables on a certain side of the plate. Mullen's like, hey, let's fire it up. Let's put something on this pizza, put something on this scramble. We'll put it out there, and you guys will like it. That's Chris Mullen.
He has accumulated some very talented players. Now, whether he has anybody to rebound and play defense, that's another story. But they are going to put points on the board, and they are going to be entertaining the St. John's Red Storm. Countdown to the shootout. It's only about 5 weeks away. 5 weeks, I think, from Saturday. The Xavier UC game at the resold Shoemaker Center, better known as Fifth Third Arena. And
I'm not going to go that far, but I hope everyone caught what you just said. Do you want to repeat it?
The resold Shoemaker Center. It's supposed to be beautiful. It's supposed to be like state-of-the-art, and you can actually see both the court and the scoreboard from the upper deck now. I've been at that place where I had a choice. I could see what the score was or watch the game. I mean, it was one or the other, either or in a seat. Now that place has been redone.
It'd be interesting. I mean, you can only put so much makeup on an ugly face, you know. We'll see what happens.
It's a total redo, and I don't know if I'll be over there or not. I think I did go 2 years ago, and nobody assaulted me, which was good. So I did survive the game, and anyway. The Bearcats beat Tusculum, a D2 from Tennessee, the other night in their exhibition. And they do open against the Ohio State Buckeyes next Wednesday.
The Bucks.
The first game at the resold Shoe. And that's the first time they've played, I think, since those national championship games back in in 61 and 62.
I like the interstate rivalry. It'll be a fun game. I don't know if I might go to that game. Or is Xavier playing that same night? Because if they're not, I'm going to try and go.
No, Xavier plays Tuesday.
Nice,
and,
nice.
The Bearcats play the Buckeyes on Wednesday.
All right.
Can you get me a seat?
No, I can't.
Don't you want to go with me? It'll be fun. You could be my bodyguard over
there. I don't know if I want that responsibility.
Yeah, that would be a big responsibility.
If me and you go there as a tandem over to UC, I just don't know if that would end well.
That'd be fun.
All right, well, Andy, good stuff. Exhibition game. We went around the Big East. We have a lot of games coming up here in the next couple weeks, and I am more than excited to keep rolling with some Xavier hoops around the Big East stuff. Andy, do you have anything to sign off to our thousands and thousands of listeners on here?
I just want to underscore again with magic marker and this is our community duty to the audience, it is the autumnal equinox on Sunday. Remember to set your clocks back an hour. You've got to do it. To do it right, you got to do it at 3 a.m. You got to I know you'll be up. It won't be a problem for you.
Well, I'll be up.
Most of us hardworking Americans will be, like 4 hours into our sleep cycle. But I'm going to get up at 3 and move the clock back to 2 a.m. So we go from Eastern Daylight, EDT, to Eastern Standard Time.
Love that.
And 2 weeks from now, I'll be on island time on the island of Maui. That's a 5-hour difference from Cincinnati. And I'm sorry you're not going to be there.
No, I'll be in Mexico, though.
Well,
I'll be in Mexico.
At least you'll be vacationing. And maybe you can go over there and bring some water and other condiments and whatever to that caravan.
Sure,
coming up north toward the border.
Andy, whatever you need done, I'll handle it. Those are some wise words from Andy Mack, a little PSA to finish out and end this week's segment, Kicking It Old School with Andy Mack. Thank you guys, and continue listening throughout this season.